Welcome back. This is Johnny G with Out as the New In, You Have a Purpose podcast. Thank you for joining us with my son Chase and his continued story.
Mom was saying, she was like, did you know you were diagnosed with ADD when you were little? And I was like, I was like, this makes a lot of sense because I can't fucking pay attention for the life of me at like one thing at a time. Like, I'm like, oh, this and this and this. Like, I'll clean my apartment and then I'll like start doing the dishes and then I'll like start watching TV. And I'm just like, what was I doing? Like, it's just so bad. But
I remember that. Yeah. Wow, that was a long time ago.
I know. I don't remember, but...
Do you remember the story when she let me know that...
Who did you just say?
Do you remember the story when Mom told me to prepare because she said Chase is gay?
Oh, no.
You were 5.
Okay, what was like that signal? Like, I'm confused.
I remember being in the kitchen. It was around Christmas time.
Uh-huh.
And she said, I know who you are. I know who your parents are. I know how you were raised. Very conservative, First Baptist, born-again Christian church. She's like, you need to prepare.
Okay.
And I looked right at her and I go, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
She goes, Chase is gay. And I was like, what are you talking about? I go, Chase is 5 years old.
Yeah.
She's like, Johnny, Chase is gay.
We love Mom. She knows.
But it was crazy because she's like, what did he ask for Christmas? And I go, he wanted an easy bake oven.
Oh, hell yeah, I did. Who didn't want an easy bake oven?
And you got one.
Fuck yeah, I did. Like, that was great.
Yeah, and she's like, Chase is gay. And
yeah.
I go, maybe Chase. I go, maybe Chase wants to be a chef.
Remember the blenders?
Yes.
I was obsessed with like.
Yes.
I'm so weird. I was just obsessed with things spinning.
Yes.
And I would just like sit and like watch the blender. And I was like, wow. This
Not
is
only
great.
the blender, but the mixer.
You remember,
and all of that.
What's his name? Chef Emerald.
Yeah, Emerald Lagasse.
Yeah, he's on TikTok. That's great.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
We would watch him every day.
That's awesome. Because I remember that.
You did.
Yeah, and then Mom would just like... I was so entertained. Would put the blender to the side and just turn it on. And I'm just like, this is great.
Yes.
Like, what? Weird. I don't know. I have very
remember
interesting things that keep me at bay. But that was, yeah. But I have a question for you, though, because you're saying Mom knew I was gay at 5 because of an Easy Bake Oven? Or, like, she just, like, knew from, like, other things?
I'm going to say from other things.
Okay. I would also assume that.
I'm going to say
Easy Bake Oven equals gay. Like, no.
A pink Easy Bake Oven.
Also, that food tasted like ass. It was so bad. It was not good.
It's an Easy Bake Oven. Come on.
But it was fun.
Yeah.
It was like, here's your powder. Add, like, 2 things of water.
Yeah.
And then you're like,
yeah.
Yum.
No.
Ingesting poison.
I'm going to say mother's intuition. 100%.
For sure.
Yeah.
She kind of knew.
Yeah. And then 12 years later is when you felt you were in a safe space to come out. Because you came out at 17.
Yeah.
So, getting back to mental health, I mean, your mental health was actually quite good because you knew you were in a good supportive state when you chose, like, this is the time for me to come out. And you knew your friends were going to support you.
I mean, I would have hoped, but, like, it was, like, you can tell when someone is on your energy of, like, support versus being, like, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's just, it's so different when you can just feel love around you and the support and you're just kind of like, cool, I can do this. It's getting back to like who you surround yourself with, and you need to always feel uplifted. If you don't feel uplifted, figure it out. Like, find people that, help you. Like, and it's way easier said than done. Like, when I say figure it out, I mean it'll just come together. Like, you'll know who your chosen family is. And in the gay community, that's such a large statement because you're kind of like, my chosen family isn't my biological family because I was kicked out at 16 years old for coming out. And I'm just like, and that's a whole nother conversation on, like, the largest breakup, in a way, that you can ever have in your life is because, like, your family's supposed to love you. for you always through and through, and then you're like, oh, okay, I have a mom and a dad, and I'm told they're supposed to love me, but now they don't. And so that mentally destroys you. And so it's just
Absolutely.
like, I will never be able to understand what that's like. And I will do everything in my power to help those that have that, because that's fucking terrible. And you should not be having children if you're not going to support them at all. I think that's wild to me. Don't have kids. We're overpopulated as it is, so like, calm down, please. But I don't know. It's wild to me that you can just do that and just be like, okay, sorry, don't want you anymore. And I'm just like, what? Like, it's weird. But find your chosen family and just see, how you progress, because who you surround yourself with, and I'm getting back to this because it's so important, is your energetic wavelength and what you put out there will always come back around with how you like what you want. So like manifestation, for example, and like, I want this in a family, and I want love and support, and I want to be successful, and like everyone wants to be successful. But I think success, in terms of like a family, is measured in like, oh, I have all these things going for me, but it's like, have your cups full of different like elements in your life. Love, I don't know, if you want to do a career, great, like, and whatever you want to feel passionate about, your friends, and all these different elements of your life. Like, you have a house, like, fill up those cups, and then that kind of like, it culminates into this like beautiful thing where you have like this environment and ecosystem where you have your chosen family, you have things that just you want. And some people, I think, will find that later as they figure out who they are. But it's just, I don't know, it's, I'm like hearing myself talk right now, and I'm just kind of like, whoa, there's a lot. It's just, it's complex. Like, it's like a Rubik's Cube, to be honest. It's fucking crazy, because the queer community and being, LGBTQIA, alphabet mafia, like, whatever. Like, have you heard that?
No, I haven't.
You just looked
That's
at me
new.
funny.
That's brand new for me.
So alphabet mafia is like, because we have so many letters like in our community. It's LGBT, like,
And a plus sign and a number 2.
Literally, and a hashtag and a smiley face. Like, we're just like, oh, okay. So alphabet mafia is kind of like, oh, I'm alphabet mafia.
It's just all inclusive. It's everything.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Now I'm like, okay, what was I talking about again? But I think it's complex. It's just hilarious. Like, our community it's a lot, dude. Like, it's,
yeah.
And I'm still learning to this day. And then pronouns are another thing.
So am I. I'm learning so much. Being able to be a part of your community, right? Mm-hmm. And having Out Is the New One, and how that all started, and meeting so many amazing queer people. Yeah. This community, I don't know where I'd be if I wasn't able to be a part of it. I've learned so much from so many people, and also having, being blessed to be a part of 1 in 10 as well. And learn so much from those youth.
Can you share with us what 1 in 10 is?
So 1 in 10 is the biggest nonprofit in the entire state of Arizona for LGBTQ youth. They support, the age group is usually like 11 to 24, so youth and young adults.
That's a big
range. Yeah, and I mean, they have satellites all throughout the state. So they have youth get to go to a group night each week, depending on the area of the valley, north, far west. They've got a couple places. But they support, they have a youth center downtown Phoenix. So it's all about, they have parenting classes. They have, a pond program, so that is supporting the youth that need housing.
Right.
Right. They have courses and information on suicide prevention. Just there's I'm kind of drawing blank, but there's so much that they do
lot
in
of
the community.
resources.
They have an amazing fresh brunch fundraiser each year that is always sold out, and the donations are absolutely amazing. The energy of those events pushes you through just feel good, right? For days and weeks because of the positivity and the energy. It's absolutely amazing.
Oh my gosh.
So I actually I was at a fresh brunch and saw some friends that I had known for a while. I met them on a giving back trip when I went to Costa Rica
Oh, right,
with
right.
the Only Human group.
Yeah.
And I saw Sandra and Vanessa and some people, and Sandra let me know that she was now working for 1 in 10. And I said, oh my goodness, I've so wanted to be a part of that.
Cool.
And a couple weeks later, we sat down and had coffee, and she said, hey, we've got some satellite coordinator positions potentially available. So I interviewed, and they kind of made a little position for me where I'm an East Valley floating satellite coordinator. So 5 different locations. If they need somebody to fill in, if I'm available, I fill in that void so the youth can come to group night.
How cool.
So yeah, and the topics are, on each end of the spectrum.
Okay.
And I have learned so much about people, the youth transitioning, just the community as a whole, pronouns and, gender identity and just everything. So it's been so beneficial for me personally.
Yeah.
And the people that I get to meet and have conversations with, I mean, it's awesome.
Well, that's an ally. If
Right,
I've ever
right.
heard one. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because most people are just kind of like, yeah, I support you. Yeah, go do your thing. But
Yeah.
like, you're actually like in it.
Oh,
And, like,
100%.
giving back and like.
Yeah, and
all
then,
this.
then having the opportunity to make Out as the New In
Mhm.
a nonprofit.
Yeah.
I had an amazing mentor, Kima Charles, and she has her nonprofit, Lights Camera Discover. So she has helped me through that entire process
Right.
to get my 501c3, and now I have that. And then with that, doors opened for BNI
Mm.
and Business Networking International. So I joined a chapter, and that's where I met the amazing duo of Rafi and Susie with South Mountain Films,
Mm.
my amazing podcast team. And from that, then the door opened for me to get into mental health, behavioral health,
Great.
having a table at a Mental Health America conference, and met an amazing human, Christine Driscoll, and she goes, I want to learn more about what you're doing.
Oh, cool.
And so a week later, we had lunch. All I talked about was mental health and how much I wanted to learn about it because, being at Scottsdale Police Department for 20 plus years, and the amount of things that I saw and was a part of, and it definitely affected my mental health. I would put everything under the rug, and
I mean, yeah. Well, we won't get into law enforcement, but
yeah,
I think I'm glad seeing you now. I think you're out of law enforcement and much happier. So
I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be in my
yeah,
life.
of course.
Yeah.
Like that's all we want is to kind of like feel. And I think
Yeah.
this is gonna sound a little controversial, but I think like the idea of purpose in life, and this is just me, I think it's a little odd because people feel so driven to do like purpose equals one thing, but like it's not. Like life can be so many avenues of like whatever you
Sure.
want, and like I don't know, it's just articulating on purpose. And if you want to, like I said, community is how we function as a society. We want to feel a part of something. So if you want a purpose, do you, dude. Like, do all the purpose things you want. But, like, I am just at that weird maybe we don't call it purpose. Maybe we're just like life avenues or like, and like, I'm not trying to label it, but I always am like, I think I question a lot of things in my life. Like, why is that the way that it is? Is it working? Is it not? And so I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Because I hear purpose all the time. Nicole says purpose all the time because she has her own cooking business and like all these things that she's doing. And I'm just like, purpose. And then I'm just like, why are we calling it that? Like, it sounds like a cult following. I don't know. That's so, like, it's silly. But, like, I just am like...
Well, I mean, the phrase, you have a purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
And, like, everyone does,
yeah.
to an extent. Like, and I think
Sure.
that's great. I just also am like, challenge that. Like, purpose. Like, why are we... Like, it's just... To me, it seems very finite on one thing. And I'm like, it's not. So I just... Anytime I hear it, I'm like, yeah, purpose. But then I'm like... But there's so many other things that you can do. Like, don't just say, I'm going to do this one thing. I don't know.
Maybe purpose is a part of a different word that came to my mind when you were talking about this. Another P word, passion. Right? Passion.
Good.
Right?
We all want to have passion.
We all
for
have
what we
passion,
do.
right? Yeah, exactly. So, you have a passion, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that passion could be for 5 different things.
Right.
Right? And you could have that passion of different levels, per se. Or it's 100% passion for 5 different things that you really, really resonate with.
Right.
Right? I look at doors for me, open doors and closed doors.
Okay.
Doors that are supposed to open will open.
Mm-hmm.
Being in sports medicine, I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that was a door, right?
You were at Boise.
No.
Sports medicine?
No, Mark's at Boise. I was at...
You were a personal trainer. Physical trainer. Physical therapist? What did you do?
Oh, my.
What did you do?
You just named everything.
You did something in medicine.
I was a certified athletic trainer.
Oh, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
In sports medicine. Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. So
But it wasn't for
that's
Boise.
what moved us. That's what moved us from Reno to Tucson, and that's where you were born at UMC.
Oh.
So I was
okay.
working for an orthopedic surgeon down there at a grad school, and so a year later, that's when we moved up here because you were born, and we moved up here.
Yeah.
And that's when I was given the head athletic trainer position at Grand Canyon University.
That's crazy. GCU.
Yes, I was at GCU.
So then, was GCU at the time the one off of the 17?
It is. It still is.
So that's like the same campus that it always was?
No. Well, it was very, very different back in the 90s when I was there. Very different. Yeah. Do you remember? You remember the 90s?
I was literally not even a concept until the late 90s, so...
Exactly. That's
I'm
why I said
showing
that.
my age. I'm
That's why I said
27.
that. That's why I said that.
Yeah.
But so no, moved up there, up here, and that's when I left there after 3.5 years.
Yeah.
Worked for a PT, physical therapy clinic in Scottsdale, and that's when another door was presented, and that door opened for Scottsdale PD.
Cool.
That I had no idea was going to open.
Okay.
But one of the biggest reasons that door opened after I did get the position through the entire hiring process was knowing how good the insurance, the healthcare was for you and the amount of surgeries that you were going to have.
Yeah, because another addition to being gay, I was born with a birth defect. So, yeah, being born with a cleft lip and palate was a whole nother ball game that I had to maneuver. And I don't know, I think that was actually quite easy. I mean, obviously there were a lot of surgeries and things that I had to work with, and that was another area of being different, right? Where I was like,
Sure.
I look funny, but I'm like, this is my face. Why am I saying that? It's just, yeah, there's a lot of things I think as a society, and I keep going back to it, that we need to challenge, because we do. There's so many standards out there that don't need to be overcomplicated, and just let shit be. Fuck, just calm down. Just be you, do what you gotta do. If you look a little certain way, if you feel a certain way, that's fine. You'll figure it out.
This is Johnny G with Out Is the New In, You Have a Purpose podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today, and please come back for the continued story of Chase.